should be thrilled, Craig, because you didn't have to do what Vinny did on Friday, which was have one of your matches reviewed by Lance. I can't believe Vinny showed up today.
Should I really be saying mean things about other wrestlers? Honestly. Do I honestly have a leg to stand on anymore?
Your struggles, Vinny, should make you an even better critic.
I've often said it takes a terrible wrestler to recognize a terrible wrestler.
Sure.
I would say a terrible wrestler. Is Psycho Sid Vicious versus Buddy Ryan, and no football fans, not that Buddy Ryan.
I never saw this guy as gigantic as he was on this show.
Now, part of it is this Buddy Ryan dude, a tiny man. Stunning Steve Austin versus Pistol Pez Watley.
You know what's amazing when he came out with that hair? LA Knight.
Kinda?
That's all I could see. Did you all notice a little boy?
Yes.
It was very hyperactive. It was Cody Rhodes.
I'll be darned.
If you call a grown man Flying Brian, I cannot take him seriously. Flying Brian Pillman
Of
is
all
fine.
things.
Yes. If he was Flying Brian P, it would have been different.
You want him to call him Flying Brian P?
You know, I say
That's
that out
worse.
loud. I say that out loud, I realize. The error of my ways.
That's the dumbest thing you've said in a long time.
That's why I don't recommend doing podcasts if when you end up with an asshole of a co-host. Who will never
Oh,
let you
it's
live
my
down.
fault now. It's
Never-
my fault, Craig.
They'll never let you live down one dumb thing you say.
My fault that he came up with that fucking idea. That's like
Don't
when
drag me
Paisley
into
peed
this.
on the floor and said we need to move the bathroom closer.
Flying Brian P. and Stunning Steve A.
How about it? Go.
I'm sorry.
Let me guess, that's my fault too.
Granny wrote, I'm not making this up. Questions or comments, whatever. Elon Musk offered you a chance to go to outer space. Would you go? Why or why not?
I wouldn't go because I'd run into some aliens.
Have you ever listened to Abbey Road? If not, you should listen to the whole thing.
Never heard of it.
It's by a band called The Beatles. The Olive Garden is terrible.
Yep.
Oh, come on. Terrible would be those Jack in the Box 50-cent tacos. Those were terrible.
Granny, were you ever into lifting weights when you were younger?
Were you ever into lifting weights? He hadn't even invented weights.
Buddy Wayne versus Brian Alvarez. He jumped down and missed Buddy completely because I looked at that twice.
I see.
And Brian never landed on him. It was nice to find Brian win one. I gave that a 9.
9.
You need to watch The People when Hogan does this. Everyone
Oh.
grabs the person next to them and points at the ring like they can't believe what they have seen. It's history.
As I think everybody with a brain expected, NXT won in total viewers. 768,000 viewers, up 17% from the previous week. Dynamite, 688,000, down 1.7% from last week. Lowest number the show has done since January 6.
Hangman Page versus Max Caster in a top contenders match. Yes, you heard that correctly. Max Caster is the number 3 ranked contender.
You can go on Elevation, Dark, and you can beat a bunch of people that nobody's ever heard of, and that counts on your win-loss, which ends up with Max Caster
I see.
being number 3 in all of AEW.
The switch to babyface was flipped so dramatically. And Jericho comes out and says, "You sound great, Jacksonville!"
I have been begging for that for years now, because we see so many people that turn, and then they act exactly like they did before they turned.
Godzilla vs. Kong presents Jurassic Express versus Bear Country. I assure you, if you went out and watched the movie instead, you'd have a much better time. Shivani interrupts Sting. Excuse me.
Hold on a second.
Freudian slip.
Nobody wants to face Darby except these folks from Elevation that nobody's ever seen on Dynamite before. What that does is it lowers the value of the title.
I do not need J.D. Drake and Ryan Nemeth and Cesar Bononi to be a faction. That serves no purpose.
When it gets to the point that it's like watering down everybody and there's too many people and things are starting to mean less and your actual big stars are being featured less because you're featuring these other people that you're paying that are not big stars, then it's a problem. It's Mike Tyson. You got to work around his schedule. So it was very much like Shaq. It's like you get Shaq when Shaq is available. The tweener, the nobody's sure, the what the hell's going on. I think there was too much of that. So when there was another turn here, I think people were over it.
That's fair. Yeah, I do not care if they're heels or baby faces.
That's the problem.
Tommaso Ciampa versus Walter. What a great
I
match.
predicted that this would be the best match on WrestleMania week.
So far, so good.
Some ridiculed me. So far, I am right.
And Walter has one chop left. And he chops this fucker. And Ciampa goes down, and Walter pins him.
The greatest.
I leapt to my feet, my fists in the air, running laps around my living room. I was so happy with this match. It was the best thing in my whole week.
This match is like an educational film that people should watch.
Yes. And her catchphrase on night 1 of TakeOver, and I'm not making this up, see you next Tuesday.
Yep. This was more a Young Bucks match than the Young Bucks match that was on the other channel.
That's fair.
At virtually the same time.
That's
I
fair.
mean, it was just a billion moves. The attempted submission where the guy grabbed his hand, thought it sucked.
Thumbs down.
It's ridiculous.
I thought this was an excellent match. This exceeded all my expectations. And like I say, short of Walter and Ciampa, this is the best match I thought on this night. Santos Escobar is up on stage celebrating with us. I believe they said his 9-year-old son.
Yes.
Hijo del Fantasma.
We got another -1 who
Apparently.
may wrestle -1 in about 9 years. She is clapping so vigorously. She's like, it's like she's doing the pec deck. She's clapping so hard. And she's got this giant grin that just
Her
won't
eyes
go
are bugging
away.
out.
She's like, ah! She just does this for like 10 minutes. I'm like, fuck. That was so weird.
Finn had been champion for a while, and this is always supposed to be Cross's deal. He managed to win the title this time, I think, without getting hurt. So we'll probably get to see whatever they had planned the first time. But in the end, very, very fun match.
I know that they have this idea that if you go 30 minutes, 35 minutes, 40 minutes, it becomes an epic all-time classic match. What makes an epic all-time classic match is when you have an epic all-time classic match.
If you have people invested for 35 minutes.
How fucking long was Walter and Ciampa? 16 minutes?
15 to 18
Fucking
minutes. Yeah.
classic. Classic. They did not need to go 40 minutes to have that classic. I thought that Adam Cole was great. I thought that Kyle O'Reilly was great. I thought the match went twice as long as it probably needed to. It went forever. And you could see the crowd start up here, and they went like this. And they went like this. And they went like this. So overall, night 1 was definitely better than night 2.
Yes.
And I do believe it is safe to say that the 2 nights of TakeOver were better than AEW Dynamite this week.
Night 1 was way better than night 2, and night 2 was way better than AEW. So we both vote NXT, I assume.
Yep, final vote here, NXT.
Final head-to-head. Are we going to still keep standings?
I mean, may as well. I guess we could still do that if people want to hear it. Thank God, next week, Tuesday and Wednesday, so much easier.
That'll be much easier.
But we will continue doing our show Thursday, everyone.
Yes.
So nothing will change there.